Welcome to the webinar entitled The Basics of Cover Letter Writing, brought to you by the BGSU Career Center, 225 Bowen-Thompson Student Union, 419-372-2356. I'd like to point out the learning objectives that should be accomplished by the end of this presentation. Students should be able to explain the purpose of a cover letter, articulate the necessary components of the cover letter, identify factors that help to make cover letters stand out to employers, and finally, to be able to critique a sample cover letter in an effort to better understand how to write an effective one. We get the question quite oftenly, why do we even need to submit a cover letter? The cover letter is a brief introduction to who you are as a candidate. It not only explains in detail some items from the resume, but it should add a little more detail, not simply duplicate the resume. It should connect the position description with your qualifications. It should be pretty much one page in length. It should adhere to a business letter format. And another couple of reasons why to submit a cover letter is it allows you to set a tone in terms of your excitement and your enthusiasm for applying to a specific position. It allows you to ask for the opportunity for an interview. It also allows you to expand on some bullet points that you may have incorporated in the resume, but you were unable to explain further a certain point that you would have liked to. So it simply gives you an opportunity to just add a little more personality, if you will, to point out some extra items that would not be able to be detected in the resume. A great cover letter answers these questions. Why are you interested in the position? What specific accomplishments have you achieved demonstrating the required skills and attributes? And I recommend listing an example. If you can incorporate an example of an accomplishment or an action that you took that explains a quality that they are seeking in that job description, by all means, include that extra information, tie that in that cover letter. What skills or attributes do you bring to the position and organization? And finally, why do you want to work for this organization? Another item that you could add is where you saw the position listing. Was it on a specific website? Was it word of mouth? Did someone refer you to the position? Did you see it in an advertisement on campus? Did you learn of it through another social media venue? Employers really are interested in knowing where candidates saw the position in the first place. So that would be the only other item that I probably would also include in a cover letter. Now we're going to advance to the formatting and body and content of the letter, and being clear and concise and very organized is the trick here. Because the cover letter follows more of a business letter format, your setup should be very easy to read, organized. You have some flexibility at the top with your contact information. If you would like to transfer the contact information and the style from your resume document over to the cover letter, you may do so, and that's completely fine. But we encourage you to um, add the date that you think that you'll be sending it out, or a date range that's closely to the date that you're hoping to send out your items. The salutation. The salutation is very interesting because many times a specific person is not listed in a job advertisement. To whose attention does it actually go to? If you can find that information out, I would by all means recommend that, because the letter then becomes very personalized and it shows that you went the extra mile to find out that information. The reason that many people's names are not published in an ad or a description is because they may get inundated with several emails or several calls, and it takes away from their productivity in their workday. So if you can find out the specific person to address, by all means, I would recommend that. But if not, then you can simply use Dear Hiring Manager. You could use the standard To Whom It May Concern. You could use Dear Recruiter. You could use Dear Human Resource Representative. One of those is pretty standard and very general. So that's what I would recommend in the salutation. The body of the cover letter is usually 3 to 4 paragraphs in length. And that allows you the space to provide an example and to get your point across where you saw the position, why you are applying for the position, why you feel like you're an excellent candidate for the position, closing the letter by explaining again your enthusiasm for the position, maybe asking for an opportunity to interview with them or talk to them about the position, and then closing with your contact information yet again, or you can say simply, looking forward to hearing back from you at your earliest convenience. Should you require additional information, please don't hesitate to contact me, email me, call me, whichever it is that you prefer, and then listing sincerely in your name. To break this down even further, in the opening paragraph, these are the items that are normally found in that one paragraph. Your purpose for writing, the name of the position, and sometimes the position goes by a code number or certain code. If that's the case, then I would just include that code or that number along with the title or in place of it, if that's all you have to go on. Mention how you learned of the available position, like we mentioned before in the first couple of slides, and try to capture the employer's attention. And what I mean by that is add some wording that might invoke more enthusiasm than just writing a certain statement. Starting a letter by stating, I was so excited to see the position of retail manager posted on Indeed.com that I felt the need to apply right away. Something along those lines, which really shows some emotion to the reader. It just shows that this is a position that you feel you would bring a huge skill set to and that you are highly well suited for. In the middle paragraph, this is your time to highlight your related experiences, relay your background to the resume if you would like, why you feel like you would be a match for this particular position. You can emphasize any accomplishments and relevant skills. Also, you want to stay away from I statements in every statement that you do make. I would start out sometimes with an action verb or therefore, again, consequently, kind of those phrases that give you some more leverage to continue the letter instead of just I this, I that. Anytime you can use terminology and phrases that are related to the industry, if you are applying for a specific position within that industry, it showcases your knowledge that you might have in the field that maybe another candidate who doesn't come from the same background or maybe did not take a specific set of coursework that was related to the field. It would show that you have a little more insight to that industry and what the qualifications and needs are over maybe someone that doesn't have the same training or background. Finally, in the closing paragraph, I recommend leaving with a confident close, restating your interest in the position and asking for an opportunity for an interview, providing your contact information or the best way to get a hold of you. Some individuals are unable to check email, have a cell phone at certain times during the day if they are already employed with another organization. So you might have specific time frames that you would prefer a prospective employer to contact you. So in that case, I would include in the closing of that letter when those better times are for you. It could be in the evening after 5 p.m. As an example. Make sure you always thank the organization or him or her for their consideration. And I have included for further example, a nice closing, promoting the value of education abroad, helping others to connect across cultures, and aiding in students' overall development are my life's work and passions. I would welcome the opportunity to utilize my experiences, knowledge, and skills to assist BGSU's international programs and services to achieve its mission. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to the opportunity to interview soon. Sincerely, and then your name. This particular example shows a lot of feeling how excited and enthusiastic this candidate would be if they were to be selected for an interview. I think the tone comes out in this wonderful example. And then they ask for an opportunity to interview. They thank the organization for their time and consideration. And it's just overall, it shows that feeling that this person really wants to be in this office, this organization, in this field. Just to reiterate some items as we're getting through the material. Excellent cover letters use an appropriate format. As we talked about in previous slides, business letter format is preferred, and this way it's organized, it is concise, it's clear, it is typical cover letter format and what is most commonly expected from an HR staff person or a recruiter. Also, the cover letter matches the candidate's skills to the employer's needs. A trick that you could use that is very beneficial would be having the job description in front of you if you feel you're going to apply, and pulling out those skills that the description is calling and asking for, and incorporating those skills in your cover letter so it shows that your skills are synonymous with what they are seeking in a candidate. Continuing on, are conscious of the employer's point of view, are clear and concise. We are seeing many examples of use of bullets in cover letters recently, and that is totally acceptable. This is a nice way to organize the information even further if you just want a few points to stand out. This can accomplish that for you. You could also have an example that says your advertisement is seeking a candidate with the following skills, and you could have a bulleted list, maybe on the left-hand side of the page, and then on the right-hand side, you could have a bulleted list of the items that you offer, or you might want to go into further detail how you have gained that skill. That would be another creative way to incorporate this type of bulleted list in a cover letter. And finally, another excellent cover letter tip, allow the candidate to expand further about their strengths through an example. It is possible you might want to use 2 examples to thoroughly explain maybe your specific knowledge, wisdom, or accomplishment in some area, and that is absolutely fine as well. Just make sure that you do not exceed 1 page due to recruiters really skimming cover letters fairly quickly, about 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So everything that you want to highlight and want to be translated needs to be very concisely written and just on 1 page, or else it is possible that the cover letter will be skipped over entirely just due to the time of those that are handling the job search. They might just skip right over it if they feel it's going to take them too much time to read the cover letter. They might just skip right onto your resume, in which they might have missed out on some great points that you have incorporated into that letter. What items should be highlighted in your cover letter? First of all, as mentioned in the last slide, I highly recommend tailoring each cover letter to the position for which you are applying, rather than setting the tone of a more general cover letter that you're just sending out by the masses. Definitely make sure that you are incorporating the industry that it's intended for, the job position it's intended for. Make sure that you tailor those letters, and you don't forget to go back and change a company's name if you included it in one letter, but you're going to send the same letter to another company. A lot of individuals have wanted to use the same general body of the letter, but they have forgotten to alleviate the original company they sent it to. It was just an oversight, a simple mistake. So just make sure you read through, and if this is not intended for the Toledo Mud Hens, then that you changed that up to reflect what organization it really is going to. So be sure to include your key accomplishments, any related experiences, relevant experiences, your qualifications, related coursework, if applicable, examples that demonstrate your skills, and any company research that you might have done or any interest that you have in their company. Any other tidbits of information, such as maybe you know a fact about their company versus one of their competitors. You can make it very conversational if you wish as well. I wanted to give you some time to look over a position description that actually came from our WorkNet system here in the BGSU Career Center. This is for an information systems intern, and you will see in the program description I have highlighted the skills that the description is calling for. Performing analysis, design, technology application, release testing, deployment activities, so on and so forth. So what I would recommend is incorporating those terms in the cover letter or resume in some fashion. So that way you look like an equally matched candidate in terms of skill set. You might not have every single skill that they're asking for, but if you can incorporate a few or the majority of what they're asking for, then your chances just got higher in terms of being contacted for an interview. Also, the second part of that description, the intern may participate in, and it gives a bulleted list of some other areas that this intern could be a part of if selected for this position. And so I would read through that list, and if you have had any experience in any of these areas, I would absolutely include those in the cover letter as well, and or you could include those in a resume too, either or. But a lot of times, if your resume is already a page or a page and a half to 2 pages, you might not have room to expand on these items. So the cover letter would be the perfect space and place to highlight these skills. Continuing on, the selection criteria at the top, we're seeing what the recruiters or the HR personnel are pretty much looking for in the candidates that they are looking at on paper. So here, yet again, is another opportunity to incorporate these criterion into how you say things in a cover letter, or just to incorporate these words and these skills. And then it goes on to say what GPA is required for the selection process. You could incorporate that in the cover letter, or usually we might see the GPA under the education section on the resume. We always guide our students with letting them know that it's optional to include a GPA, but if a particular internship position, such as this one, is requiring a GPA, I would highly recommend including it in the cover letter, if not on the resume. Absolutely. Okay. You see some more information about the Owens Corning company in general. So the student or the applicant might read a little bit about the company and integrate something that they've read in that cover letter as well to make their letter unique or stand out. And that is also very fine to do as well. Basically, we have covered the purpose of a cover letter, how to format a cover letter, what items go in each section of the cover letter, some tips, advice, organization of the cover letter, and then how you can get a hold of a Career Center representative should you want to schedule a one-on-one appointment or work on a cover letter at a proposed time that fits your schedule. We also offer drop-in hours if you would just like us to critique a cover letter. Those drop-in hours are Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 1 to 4 p.m. And we will be located, as I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, at 225 the Bowen Thompson Student Union. That's on the second floor. And you can just sign in and one of us will be there to assist you with a critique or offering you some written resources where you could even begin a cover letter, any items that would help you be more successful in applying for that position. So thank you for your attention, and we look forward to working with you in the future.